He's
He's a very nice client.
He is a very nice client. This is a very nice client. You know, sometimes I'm not even sure you're like I forget about you because you're so good. Like I have to like remember. My God, you're okay.
Yeah.
You really are. Okay.
So whatever makes you stable, your feet.
That's right. But I really like how, pressing and just kind of locking my toes a little bit this way and pressing. It gives me just more stability, which then makes me feel like I can put a little bit more pressure in. And the thing to do is to be, because when you're not focused on your stability, then you can focus on feeling what you're feeling underneath your heels on them, right? So that's what helped. All right. Just a little out. And then you want to go to your next page? I know it's work.
Yeah.
It's work to do this.
It's opposing scapula, scallop.
Got it. So here, I'm going to ask him to put his hands up on his low back and just grab a wrist. Go ahead and grab a wrist. There you go. And I usually I usually start with my right foot because I'm right-sided, right? I'm right side dominant. You do whatever you want. Doesn't matter which side as long as you do both sides, right? Or, if they only want you to do one side, do just one side. But I like to tuck the other foot against the upper arm. Yeah, come on in and see what you need to see. I like to tuck that in just to make sure that they're getting a kind of a stable. It's not pushing them too far into the table. I just like that stability there. I think it's comforting for them.
Okay.
Right. And it keeps the shoulder in place so I can get underneath the shoulder blade. So here it's hooking. And I'm using a little bit of my heel, and I'm also tractioning. And then I'm coming back. You may be on the table longer than you thought.
We're not going to charge you more.
That's right, we're not going to charge you more.
If kids cannot touch.
Yeah, so if they can't, oftentimes I've asked them to either grab the sheet if that works, or I'll give them a towel or a pillowcase. Okay, so good questions. Questions are good. Questions are good. Although some people say there are no stupid questions, and I disagree. TA and I have talked about this a lot. That people come up with stupid questions all the time, but you should ask anyway. I'll let you know if it's really stupid. All right, so. The thing about this is that's similar to the Thai massage is I feel like doing things at least 3 times, right? With the Thai massage is 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, right? Doing things in a sort of a triplet rhythm. I know I've done that more just to demonstrate with him, but you've seen the action now where you can see that I'm just scalloping the edge using the edge of my foot, and then I'm hooking. Just to traction the scapula up towards the head a little bit. So then I usually glide my foot across because transitions are important, okay? Glide my foot across and then same thing other side. Because we're not going to leave him too lopsided. We're going to give him the whole thing. So I'll bore the hell out of you, but you can see. Really using the edge of my foot, the outer edge. And I find I use that a lot in this practice. Edges are good. And this way you can really feel like where his tightness is, like right there. And hooking. Does that feel okay to you? I mean, I should every once in a while ask you, like, you actually enjoying this?
Yeah,
okay. And you're not too cold?
No.
Okay, good. Good to know. Do you feel like your right side is a little tighter than your left?
No, it's the other way around.
Huh.
But the left is, I have a little bit of problems with my rotator cuff probably. So.
Okay. Well, tell me if you want more of something, okay?
Yeah,
So I never do body work on him, so. All right, and then again, transitioning off. So that's sitting for me. There's other stuff that when you get online, if you want to go look at what Ruthie does in her protocol for she'll I don't even know if I remember how to do this. Where she'll use her feet and pull back on the neck and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I mean, and I don't like doing that because I don't really like moving people's heads in the face cradle that way. So it just didn't appeal to me. I set it down to this, but if you want to add more, well then you can go and look and add more. So when I go to get up, and then these bars, the crossbars here, you won't see. That was my idea. I didn't like, they're not on the outside bars there. I'm using them on my own set. But I like the crossbars. I use them sometimes during the work, but they also stabilize the bars. Okay, so there's not as much bend to them, and there's not as much movement to them, and I like them being a little bit more stable. So I get up and then headed into, what's the next one?
Sorry.
That's okay.
It will be opposing scapula, scallop, and wedge.
Okay, so using my right foot on his right scapula. So it's only, I've got most of my, and you can see I have most of my pressure still on the stool, but I'm transferring some onto him. And you'll notice that, because you want to get this in the picture too sometimes, is you want to get up and get my hands on the bar so that you'll notice. Not that I really want you filming me, meaning only because like it's not, I didn't dress for the part, you know what I mean? But like, so ignore me, like the rest of my body. The focus is my hands and my feet. Although but you do want to see like what the position is. I just
I'm also more visual person.
Right. So having this, having the look of it, and but you can tell, like, how much pressure, if you're only focused on the foot in the video, then you can't really tell, like, how, like, where the rest of my body is, and so you'll know how much pressure to put in, So, you okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. So, read the thing of what it says for this one. Just read it out loud so you'll know.
Opposing scapula, scallop, and wedge.
Right, and wedge. So here's the wedge. That was the scallop, right? Only the scallop this time, right?
This is the scallop one.
Yeah, this is the scallop one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
The
the wedge here. Okay, now this is my thing. The other people, you won't find this in other protocols. They just stay on one foot and do here. They'll do the wedge here, right? Which is nice. I mean, it's nice. I'm not doing two-footed work yet on him, right? But I am leaning more the weight here, all right? When I really want to get the wedge going, I'll start to use two hands and sink into it. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you just want to make sure that your client likes that pressure, all right? So just start it. If they want more, you can give them more. Again, transitioning over to the other side, scalloping. I'm barely gripping on the bar, but a lot of my pressure is still on my right foot, on the foot on the stool, okay? So I don't have full pressure on yet. And then slide into the wedge. And just because I know he can handle this pressure, I'm putting my foot up against the wall so I can really get that gravity. Because like you were saying, Amy, about feeling like you don't have the power, well, use gravity. Use gravity and use your props. And your props are your wall and your bars.
So this is important to have like wall, especially to keep you stable.
Because you know what I remember when I was in the other space, the one that Amy was in, and okay, so that's the end of that. Go ahead and hang your arms off the sides, and that's what you're going to ask, is they have to hang your arms all the way off the sides of the table. Yeah, right there, right. So because now I'm going to go into this. And I'm going to start doing this moonwalk, but I'm leaning up against the wall. Now you can do it where you're not leaning against the wall, where you're hanging from your arms and you're doing it like this. But if you're leaning up against the wall, you better have a wall that's strong enough. And sometimes when I want more, I'll just take my back off the wall and I'll use my ass. And I'm pushing my ass through the wall. Well, in the other place, I pushed a hole right through the wall because there was no stud there. There was no wood there. It was just drywall. Right, it was
Okay.
just drywall. So I just like all of a sudden one day it just went as I was doing this. It was like, and I didn't own that building. Not that I own this one, but so we had to replace the drywall.
Oh wow.
Because basically what I did was I just had this thing hanging in front of it for a while until we realized that nobody knew, right? But there was this little divot where my ass went.
Oh, wow,
So,
okay.
Yeah. So here's your moonwalking, right? And you can just vary the amount of pressure by either, not just using the wall to hold you, or I'll do it like this one for people. If you have people, do you need? Yeah, because this is the one that tests people though to where especially guys with Adam apples that stick out.
Yes.
You'll find that they may have trouble. They may need to come up more. Do you feel like you need to come up even more? Yeah. So have them come up so that they
At the edge. of
yeah,
the-
exactly. At
more,
the edge.
yeah.
At the edge. So it gives them some room because I am putting some downward pressure and it may feel good, but it compromises them there.
Yes.
Women, you can use the booby cushions. Go ahead and grab one of those, Amy, if you will. Just grab one of those. I've got 2 of them. I got there's this woman out of Texas who sold these things. And these are awesome, not just obviously for the ashi, but for anything.
Yes.
I love these things. So I just asked them to be like a girl and push yourself, put your hands underneath your chest and just push up. So you lift your chest up off the table. Yeah, just lift you're not going to use put your hands on the table. There you go. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll put it underneath them like that. And they can arrange
okay.
it themselves, but usually just put it around their boobs like this.
Okay.
I've even
got
used it sometimes for men whose Adam's apples just don't clear.
I
For whatever
see.
reason they're anatomically they need help. But normally for women, I'll just put one, or I'll double decker it and I'll put 2 of them on if they really need that.
Big
They really
boob,
need
yeah.
the support. Exactly.
Okay.
In other ashi trainings, they may use rolled up towels right underneath shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I just like this better. I just feel like this just works nicer. Good, you can put your arms out the sides again, and you don't have to be like a girl anymore. Thank you. So again, here, you okay?
Yep.
You good? Yeah, make yourself happy, please. Good, turn your knees in towards one another, so yeah, you let your ankles roll out. Okay, it's a real test. You want to stress this, be a position Nazi. And get after them and just say, you want your knees to be turned in. You don't want anything to be rigid. And your heels should roll out. If you start to see their heels rolling in unconsciously, or their butts tightening up, so go ahead and tighten your butt under there you go. When you start to see that crease happening in the, then you want to remind them, let go of your butt and try to breathe instead. Don't clench, try to breathe, all right? So here's the scalloping. You can do it, handless, or you can do it using hands, or you can really take your weight off. What I was going to say is if people are really not into the ashi, you'll know because they're really tensing up their body, and you may just want to move into something else. You may just want to not do it. But for the people who have been asking their kids to walk on their backs, those ones want you.
Do you have more male clients or more female on the ashi?
I have half and half.
Okay.
I have a lot of female clients,
I
and
see.
one of the things that I was taught way back in the day when I first learned the ashi was that you're not supposed to work on clients who are anything less than 100 pounds more than your own weight. So in other words, I would have to work on somebody, since I'm 100, back then I was 105. I would have to work on somebody who was 205. Oh, give me a break. That is so not true. It is so not true. Do not worry about that. You do not need to work on somebody who's 100 pounds more than your weight. Okay? It's not true. How much do you weigh?
190.
Right. It's not true. You may need to put your weight up into the bars, which is good for you because then you're working out a little. But if it's a lot, you shouldn't be working on them just because they can't handle it. But I told you I had those women who are smaller and skinnier than I was, and you may love it.
Yeah.
Like absolutely love
Like
it. So
a lot
it
of-
really depends on the person.
Yeah, a lot of small people actually can take pressure.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah,
It's astonishing how much.
Yeah.
It really is amazing.
Yeah.
And not only take it, they crave it. It's really interesting. Like I do. I trained him to stand on my back. He's 190 pounds and he doesn't have bars hanging from the ceiling. This is at home. He's just like standing on my back at home. So, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, right. So, okay. So notice the transition. I'm coming up and I'm going to sort of butterfly my feet outwards and then bring them back together again. And I'm just doing a glide. I am putting some weight. And in the beginning, you may want to put a little bit more weight up into the bars, all right? So that you're doing this motion, but you're not maybe using your full weight, all right? But sometimes it's just perfect for people. And just check in a lot in the beginning. You know, annoy them. It doesn't.
Okay.
Then just so that in the beginning. Just in the beginning.
Nice.
All right. So notice I've turned and we're on the next. What are the,
The next one
Yeah.
is
Left side, 1 foot. Erector, tricep glide.
Got it. So I've come off, right? Come off here.
mm-hmm.
Boom. Turn, and I'm using my right foot on his left side. And what you're going to do is you're going to learn how to adjust your position on the client. In the Ashi, they'll often tell you don't adjust on the client. I think you need to learn how to do that.
Okay.
So I'm going to glide up his erector, and then when I feel like I need to move my other foot up, I lighten up. I learn. That's why you need your core strength and you need your arm strength, and you need to do it by practicing.
Yeah.
You know? So I've adjusted up. I use the wall a lot. I use the wall. I'm coming up, and I'm going to use just a little bit of heel here up at the top. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then glide out the tricep. I like to get just that little bit of work on the levator, where the levator ties into the top of the scapula right here. Just a little bit, right? Just a little bit of hook and traction, right? You don't have to go tremendously hard. So make sure that if you're filming this, you also get the arm work too, okay? Because I think it's important to know. You may do it, you may find your own way of doing this, but it's helpful just to see